Oh, my first surrogacy journey was the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced, and beautiful person that I cared for. His daughter is just so gorgeous. And my second one was really painful and really, really challenging. There were some decisions that had to be made that were super hurtful. But at the end of the day, I still grew a very beautiful little girl for my intended parents. And ultimately, that's what I went into surrogacy for, and also for the sisterhood that has endlessly shown up for me. And it's still been a very beautiful experience, even though there's been a lot of pain as well. It's been really amazing. When I shared that I was trans with my first IPs, he was very, very excited for me. My last journey, they didn't mind either, and it was a really cool experience to be able to still grow a human for somebody. Everybody has been completely accepting and completely on board, and the entire sisterhood of surrogates has said, we do not mind having a brother in the mix, and it has been extremely beautiful. I think my advice would be no expectations. At the end of the day, your goal is the sisterhood. Your goal is to be able to grow a human for other people, and just to really not take things personally, because sometimes some parents have had so many things on their journey and it has nothing to do with you as a surrogate. And so going into it knowing that, and knowing that you're here for your sisters and you're here to grow a human for those parents that have been through so much. It is the end of surrogacy for me, but I still want to be around to give advice to other surrogates and be a part of the group. I adore everybody. I love all my sisters, and they are so accepting of me, it feels so nice and so loving and so beautiful. I'm gonna cry. Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know if that was okay.
My name is Kim. I'm originally from South Africa, lived in Canada for 30 years, and I've just completed my first surrogacy journey. My son is 21, and I just have one son. I have wanted to do surrogacy ever since I had my son, but I just never had the right timing for lots of different reasons. And eventually the timing was right at the age of 48, and I decided to go ahead and look more into it. I spoke to a couple people, looked at a couple Facebook groups, and then connected with CFC and knew it would be the right match. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be really, really, really hard. But I had my friends and my son help me a huge amount. So they all got together and they helped support me along the way. Good support system is definitely something you need. Helps in the journey. And my son was the one who was at the age of 21 that had to give me all my IVF treatment injections. So I'm very grateful for him. The best part about joining CFC was that if I needed any guidance or direction or some advice, I knew that they were able to give me options, and I could take that information and then make my own decision. I knew that I was never left alone, that they would always assist me any way that I was reaching out to them. They always checked in with me at the beginning, during, straight after a transfer. They sent me happy vibes and checked in to see how I was doing. They checked in me after I had delivered the baby. It was just a great support system. You were never just a number. You were always included and remembered and always supported. Just do it. It will be the best decision you will ever make. There'll be no regrets. It will be something that you will always remember. And you have this lifelong bond with a family. You have the second family that you never know you needed, and you never needed them in the beginning. They needed you, but in the end, it's part of being a family that it's a lifelong memory that I am happy I've done. And to see the joy in their hands and on their faces, and it's just, I can't put it into words. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. They just sent me pictures today.
Motherhood is it's what I'm good at. It's everything. It's my biggest part. My kids are literally the most important thing to me. That's motherhood. Actually, I became a surrogate because my little sister may not be able to have children. She has some health problems, so I wanted to see what being a surrogate really entailed so that I'm ready when she's ready, because I will carry her children. There was some worry about like the baby coming out and me having that same familiar bond that I had with my own children, but she came out and she was beautiful and I love her and she's amazing and wonderful, but it's not the same kind of love as I do have for my own children. It's more like an auntie. Like I would die for her, of course, but it's not the same as when I had my own children. Being and getting pregnant is pretty easy for me. I mean, I was in pretty rough shape at the end of my pregnancy with my last, but I know why that happened, so I know I can rectify that. If you have that love and space in your heart to help complete somebody else's family, I'd say just go for it. It's an amazing experience, beautiful people, and it's definitely like a way to fill any kind of space that you have in your heart that is otherwise empty. I know them, I talk to them on a regular basis. They call me Auntie. They actually gave my name to their daughter as a middle name, which I thought that was amazing. I know that the waiting period is hard. You can only imagine how hard that is, on top of probably an already very stressful subject, but eventually you will find your girl and the woman will carry your baby or babies, and it'll be a good experience. Just be patient. My kids love it. I mean, the second journey is a little more difficult just because my younger two are almost 2 and 2 months old, so I don't think they're gonna understand, but my girls, my 3 older girls, they loved it the first time. They ask about that surrogate baby all the time, and they were excited when I said I was gonna do it again. So yeah, just be open and honest with them. They get it.
My name is Janet. I am a wife of 14 years. I am a mother to 5 children. I am a surrogate to 5 other children. I am currently on a 7th journey, as one of my journeys did end up not moving forward due to 4 unsuccessful transfers. I work for CFC and I love it. I work for Sacred Surrogacy and I absolutely love it. And I'm just here for all things baby. The best part is, you know, when you give these babies to their parents, and you could see the love in their eyes. Like, it's something that you can't witness any other way. Like, having your own kids is absolutely incredible, but this is, I don't know, it's amazing. And, you know, I want everybody to do it. So the reaction is, are you not pregnant yet? So they have pretty much grown up the last 6 years with me always being pregnant. They, you know, I'll say the name of this baby and they're like, now which number is that? So, but they are totally on board. They, you know, they've been super supportive. They're just super used to it now. When I first started out, my two youngest, they were the closest with it, you know, always at my belly and giving hugs and saying hi. And my favorite memory about that was with my second surrogacy baby. It was Christmas Day, and my son came up to my belly and he's like, "It's Christmas!" And he was so happy, and, you know, just stuff like that. Like, the kids, they totally get it. And, you know, they are super supportive. Mom's sick the whole time, and they will do whatever they can to help mom feel better, and because they know that, you know, it's helping somebody else have the family that they wouldn't have otherwise. I would tell them to just look into it and do it. So they've, you know, they've seen me do it. They've seen what I go through, and they would understand, and they would know that they have my support the whole way through, and they would know that they would have such a community around them that would support them as well.
I became a surrogate because there was a point in my life where me and my husband weren't sure if we were going to be able to have kids because of health struggles of our own. And there's nothing scarier than trying your hardest to have a kid and it not working. So I thought, since we were a break in our own family, it'd be great to help someone else complete theirs. A family that really wanted it. There's so many great couples out there and single parents who can't have kids due to health issues or sexual orientation, and I just wanted to help an amazing couple or single person complete their family who could really appreciate having a child. I've had 2 journeys now with the same set of intended parents, and we have just the best friendship. They've came here to visit me in Canada. I've gone to visit them in their home country. I'm in connection with all their friends and family. We just have the best bond, and I'm so thankful. They just had, honestly, they were one of the biggest and best in the country. There was so much great stuff online. The reviews were good. I did research into a few clinics, and CFC had such a great organization and kind of sisterhood, and I like they were connected and did special events like our retreats. My kids at the time were a little confused as they were younger. I explained to my children, Mummy's belly is like an oven. I'm baking someone else's ingredients into a cake because they don't have their own oven. It's still their cake, they're just boring my tummy. And they thought it was really cool once I explained they were gonna have a little cousin somewhere else, and aunts and uncles, and yeah, just a way of growing our family through great friendships and bonding. I had nothing set in my head. I was open to any sexual orientation, single, couple, location. For me, it was all about the bond I had with them and thought we could build. I was open to anything. For me, I just wanted to find someone I really clicked with and could see being friends with them in person. So CFC was great. They sent me so many profiles to choose from, some videos and write-ups, and honestly, like, there are so many couples out there. It was such a hard choice, and everyone seemed valid. Everyone seemed amazing. But there's such pressure to pick the right couple because this is such a great journey experience, but can also be hard, so you want to pick the right people. So I picked a couple I could see myself being friends with in real life, and we have an amazing bond now, 2 babies later and almost 4 years. The hardest part is people's misconceptions and what people would tell me they thought of what we did and what surrogates did, and just all the false information and kind of bias out there towards what we do, and what we do is amazing.
And I'm a surrogate. I've had 2 of my own children and 2 surrogate children, and it was an amazing experience. I loved having my own kids, so I love that I got to give that to another couple. It was for the same couple. Well, I saw a bunch of profiles and I was just so inspired by how much patience these parents had and how wonderful, like all the different parents. And it was a hard decision. Eventually, one of the workers at CFC said, you know, I just have this couple, and for some reason, even though it's not like all the things you had asked for, I just want you to just look at their profile. Anyway, so I opened it up and it was just one of those, kind of like when I saw my husband online, I just knew, like, before I even read much, I was like, yes, they're international, and I said that's not what I wanted, and I wasn't going in looking for a gay couple, but yeah, it was amazing. I was like, yes, these guys. I don't know why, and it's been perfect. Like, we wanted the same level of communication, and they've been with me, you know, the whole journey, and then we did it again together, so it must have gone well, you know, to do it more than once. They're 6 and turning 3 soon, or maybe just 2.5. 6 and 2.5. And it's lovely getting updates on them all the time. We're still in touch. Yeah, I love them. I have a frame of my kids as newborns and my 2 surrogates as newborns in this collage all together. And it was just all the things I was able to put out there in the world, all of my babies. So I call them all my babies, but those are definitely their kids and my kids are my kids. But yeah, and they know me and love me. And sometimes, like, the 6-year-old's a little older, she'll be like, I wonder what tummy mommy's eating today. And then they'll text me like, Martina's wondering what you're eating today. So we'll send a little video like, this is what we're eating. And I think it just makes, you know, now that we have the contact still, I think it makes it easier for everyone that they really understand how they came to be, how they have 2 dads and how they have a tummy mommy and they have, you know, an amazing extended family. I know that they're loved from all of my extended family, love all my Sora babies, and all of their extended family love us. So it's more than just about the one couple and me. It was like about everybody. I think, well, one, if you're going to be a surrogate, I would definitely do it with CFC. Because I don't know what it's like with other places, but with CFC, I have a whole community of people and support. Now, if I was doing this alone, I think it'd be a whole different story and it would be kind of scary. Every step of the way, no matter what came up, I had a whole community of people for support through every single piece of it. And also my intended parents also had that support. So I couldn't imagine doing it any other way. I think if I had just done it without CFC, it would have been still lovely and it would have given this wonderful gift, but I wouldn't have gotten all the extra pieces that I got. I got a lot of spiritual healing through being around a lot of other surrogates and women and having retreats and meeting up. I got a lot of friendships that are lifelong friendships. I got a lot of clarity in who I am, self-esteem. It made me go a different direction with my career because I had that self-esteem and I could set goals. So it was, yeah, I'd say definitely do it with CFC. And I would say if you're thinking about it, it means there's something inside you that maybe you have that same voice that I had that was like, we should do this. I think you should just start, you know, exploring that. It might not be for you, but it might be something amazing for you. So I wouldn't worry about what other people think, because I would also say 95% of everyone I've ever met was just so excited about the whole adventure and are very positive about it. So I would say, you know, tell a loved one about your idea and see what they say, and tell another loved one. Yeah, I think you should do it. Basically, if you're thinking about it, just look into it. Yeah. If I could pick one moment from both journeys, wow, I think it was when I'd been up at night, like early on, and up at night thinking, I could do this. Like, this is something I could do for someone. And it was really exciting to have this idea. I was thinking about it all the time, but I was too scared to tell anyone. I didn't know what they would think. But I'm like, I think it's something I want to do. Like, I'm done having my own, but I love babies. I love pregnancy. It's something I want to do again. And so it was like this kind of fun secret I had, I guess, for a while, this thing I wanted to do. And so when I finally told my husband, I was really thinking he would say no, and then I could just sleep at night again. I don't know, it would be like an excuse, like, okay, I guess it wasn't going to work out, like I need his consent. But, when we had that talk and he said yes, it was a huge moment for our relationship, but also for just saying, yeah, like we're actually going to do this. It was really exciting. I mean, there's so many moments. I mean, birth I guess I picked one moment, but giving birth to them was amazing. It was wonderful. I love that whole part. I love holding a new baby, being so close to someone else's experience of having a child. So, yeah, lots of beautiful moments. It's hard to pick one. I guess just knowing that I was going to do it, and then once I had that yes, I guess I just knew like this is going to happen. It was just very exciting.
My name is Lori Richards. I am from Caronport, Saskatchewan, in the process of moving to BC. And this is I'm on my third surrogacy. I'm actually due in October. I usually deliver in Saskatchewan, usually Regina. I've had one in Moose Jaw. This one is by C-section just because I've had 3 previous C-sections. But the parents, the IPs, are always there for the birth. They let me hold it. They've let me help name the baby. For my first surrogacy, they wanted me to breastfeed for the first couple of weeks. And it's just been a very, very I've not had I have heard some stories of negative journeys, but mine have all been positive and very, very rewarding. Actually, I've been thinking about surrogacy for a very long time. I gotta say at least my 20s. And I just didn't know how to get started on it. And then I was on Facebook one day I believe it was 2019, and I saw a advertisement for surrogates through CFC, and I called them, and that's how I got started. And shortly after that, I was matched with my first couple. Well, surrogacy is not for everyone. It's a very personal journey, but a very rewarding journey. You have to really look inside yourself as to whether or not it's for you. For me, it is just something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to help other couples have the family that they cannot have on their own. For example, my second surrogate couple, they had tried for over 20 years to have their own child. Couldn't carry, so I ended up in 2022 being able to gift them with the daughter that they've always wanted. And to me, I still have contact with them on a regular basis, and they're like extended family to me. So I've actually had mixed reactions. A lot of them have been shocked. A lot of questions because they've never met a surrogate before. And then when I explain to them the process and everything else, they are like shocked and intrigued, and but then I've also had reactions where like, you're pregnant with the baby for 9 months, how can you give it up? Like, what's this going to do to your body, and this and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, 1, I know my body can handle it. 2, I have no problems because I know right off the bat that this is not my child. Yes, I do still have a connection because I carried the child for 9 months, but ultimately it's not biologically my child. I know when I have the IVF done where this baby is going. I have no problems with it at all. If it was my own child, different story, but this is not my child. I already know it's somebody else's child, and that's all there is to it.
Hi, I'm Christy LeClaire, and I've been a surrogate several times. I've had 4 journeys, and out of those 4 journeys, I was able to successfully have 2 babies. I have 5 of my own children and 1 son-in-law, and my kids range from 21 down to 10 years old. So there were several factors that contributed into me becoming a surrogate. So one of them was a good friend of mine. Her friend was a surrogate and she lived in the United States. So that's where I first kind of learned about surrogacy as a person that I knew. And at that time, I didn't know if it was a thing in Canada. Surrogacy was a thing in Canada. And at that point, I was just really interested to hear her story and to kind of see where her journey went. I followed her journey, and it was really a very cool thing. And at that time, I was still having my own family. So it didn't even cross my mind to become a surrogate at that point. But several years later, when we finished having our own family, I knew our own family was complete. But I loved being pregnant and giving birth. And that's when surrogacy came across my mind again. And I started researching it to see if surrogacy happened in Canada. And I Googled it actually, and Leah's name came up, the owner of CFC. And so I went to her website, learned all about it. So apparently it was a thing in Canada. And then I immediately spoke to my husband about it, and we went from there. So because I had 5 children, I had a very variety of stories, birth stories for myself personally. Like care providers, I've had family doctors, I've had OBGYN, I've had midwives, I had hospital births, I had a home birth, I had inductions, I had a natural birth. So because I had so many different stories on how my own children were born, I was really open at that point when I was talking to my intended parents to see where their comfort level was or what they had envisioned for birth. So that's kind of how we decided on where to give birth. Obviously, bottom line, because I was the one giving birth, for me, it was I got to make the final decision. But in that decision, I really supported my intended parents and really weighed their opinion heavily on my decision. My first successful journey where I successfully had a baby, for me, that was that whole process was something, an experience that I'd never had before, obviously, and being able to have a baby for someone, it was the most amazing thing in the world. But for me, more importantly, surrogacy has taught me a lot about my own self, and being involved with CFC gave me the opportunity to join in with other people across Canada that were also surrogates, and we formed a real bond, and I still maintain those friendships, and it's been, I think, 8 or 9 years, so it's been quite a while. And it's always really fun for me to get together with surrogates in the area and doing the surrogacy retreats. And I really feel spoiled as a surrogate to be able to have those opportunities provided for us. But yeah, it really, it's referred to as a sisterhood, and really that's truly what it feels like to me. So yes, going through the process of having a baby for someone was amazing, but more so having those friendships and the sisterhood has been really important to me in my life. Yeah, so that was something that I considered, and I think that was why it didn't cross my mind to become a surrogate while I was still having my own children, because I felt like I was still having my own babies, and I always thought, like, if that was something I was going to do, I wanted to wait till I had my own babies, finished having my own babies. So how did I do it? I just kind of integrated it in my life, just like it was one of my own babies, in the same way that I was pregnant. So being pregnant was kind of part of my normal life for the past 10 years at that point. So it didn't really change my life in any way as far as how I lived my life with my family and my own kids. And actually the thing that's, I think the most positive thing that came out of me having the surrogacy pregnancy when my own kids were small, was they actually developed a sense of compassion for others that were going through hard times in their own journeys of intended parents of being able to create their own family. And we also were able to learn how there's different types of families and different compositions of families, and they look different than our own, but it was still very special to have these different kinds of families in our lives. And so, you know, my children seeing the gift that I was giving to the intended parents actually created more compassion in them. And so also along with that, being able to, when I did talk to my children about the decision to become a surrogate, I just explained it and said that this family wants to be a family, but they're not able to create a family. And my kids they basically said, well, of course you should do that. Like, why wouldn't you do it? Kind of. So, yeah. But yeah, just the impacts it had on my own family were so positive. It didn't disrupt my family, but it added to my family. The idea of me being exploited, actually that makes my heart sad to hear that, because for myself, it was 100% my choice every step of the way in my journey, from learning about surrogacy to talking to my husband and my family, and making decisions based on who my intended parents were, picking intended parents, getting pregnant, how I carried out my prenatal care with my midwife, the support of my friends and family, the support of the hospital when it was time to give birth. All of these people and all of these experiences all were choice along the way. At no time did I ever feel exploited. And every step of the way, I felt like if something's not right, I could say no. And so I think for me, that's one great thing about having an agency as a surrogate, because CFC was there to guide me through the whole process. I felt like I had a safety net. No matter what, someone had my back, and they were able to walk me through the journeys and explain every step of the way, and give me the options that I had to be able to make my own choices. So in fact, it felt the opposite of exploitation. It felt like I was actually in control and had this amazing support by all these different wonderful people. And so for me, that is what makes an experience empowering instead of exploitative. Because when you have a choice, that's what gives you your own personal power. You're not alone in the process. When you have other surrogates that come around you, and as I mentioned earlier, the sisterhood, the camaraderie that you develop with other people that are surrogates, it's such a unique experience that most people probably wouldn't fully understand what you're going through unless it's someone else that's done surrogacy or is in the journey of surrogacy as well. So as far as the idea around approaching birth and the choices that you have, it is different than your own baby, because with your own baby, you do get to make all the choices yourself. Whereas with intended parents, you're considering what they're thinking and feeling as well. So it's more of a group discussion, group choice, and how things play out ultimately does rest on you and your decisions. But it's something that was, when I was first pregnant with my first surrogate baby, I wasn't sure how I would feel during the birth process because it wasn't my own baby. And I had 5 successful vaginal births with my own children, and I didn't know how it was going to play out. But I did trust my care providers. I trusted the intended parents. I trusted my friends and family, the other surrogates that I had as friends. CFC, of course, was always there for me every step of the way. So making big decisions didn't feel too overwhelming. And being supported that way with extra support only added to the birth experience. So it wasn't a time of like unknown or what if this happens or what if that happens. I felt really secure in the idea of having all of these people around me supporting me and walking me through this birth. And once that baby was born, just seeing the joy in the dad's eyes and knowing that I had made the right decision to be able to, you know, give them the gift of a family. Yeah.
I want to let them know that it's not about giving a couple a baby. It's about creating community. It's about growing families, connection. It's about growth and empowerment. I have successfully completed 2. There are 2 little ones in the world because I met some amazing people and got together with them through CFC. But I did 13 transfers for 7 different couples. Knowing the fact that there is infertility and that there was absolutely nothing that I could do more for these families other than do my very best and try and follow all the medical protocols. But infertility is infertility, so it was heartrending. I have 4 beautiful children of my own. They aren't perfect, but they're mine, and I love every part of them. So surrogacy was a way of giving back to my community, giving back to the world, being thankful to my Creator for giving me my children and just helping others have theirs. And for my surrogacy community, I love being a mentor. I love being there for others. Well, I honor him first and foremost in everything I do. And I yield to his calling in my life. He would not have called me to do this if I was not supposed to do this. What does it mean for me? It means that I'm there to support others as they need to be supported and that I honor my beliefs through my surrogacy. I was a hard one to match, Leah, remember? At the beginning, we had a smaller pool of IPs, intended parents, and I refused to terminate, and I refused to selectively reduce, so I wasn't an easy person to match. Watching my intended parents hold their baby fresh out of me for the very first time and watching the love bloom on their faces. That was everything for me because both of my sets of intended parents were in the room when I delivered. I wouldn't have had it any other way. Staying in touch with them has been an absolute gift. It wasn't expected, it was just a hope. And also having my children watch me give of myself with no way of being repaid by the intended parents. Because they learn to give of themselves without expecting anything back.
My name's Leah Swanberg. I am the founder of Canadian Fertility Consulting. I started this agency 18 years ago, having completed 2 surrogacy journeys that forever changed who I was as a woman. Having the unique experience of surrogacy, being able to witness a woman who desired motherhood so deeply changed who I was and how I would mother my own 5 children, and has continued to shape how I mother my children. These past years in this business of surrogacy, I've been inspired daily by the women who show up as surrogates. There is this myth that surrogacy is about helping people become parents. And what I know for sure is it is about helping women rewild. It's about helping women to honor their autonomy, their truest selves,
It is about community. It is about this sisterhood of connection, and that someone becoming parents is a beautiful piece of it. But that for those women who join our community and who suffer loss and miscarriage or don't become pregnant, that there is so much more here for them. That it cannot just be about giving someone a baby, because no babies are guaranteed. This is a human process that is so beautifully flawed that the baby doesn't always come. But what does is this community who will have your back, who will show up for you, who will love you, who will know you, who will see you, who will witness you in your deepest pain, in your most beautiful sacrificial moments of surrogacy. And this myth needs to be dispelled as this myth of women being exploited. You cannot exploit us. We are independent, autonomous beings in this world. And our wombs aren't for sale. Our gift to this world, for many of us has been our children, and to extend that to others, to give them hope, to give them the ability to see what we see in our children's eyes is and has been transformational. I have seen thousands of women come through this process with us, with CFC, with me, and everyone has been different and unique. Every journey, every story, and we honor those journeys, even when, just because. And my hope in looking at and being with surrogates through capturing video, capturing photos, capturing moments, is that people will see these women as empowered and strong and beautiful and kind and generous and giving and Christian and Catholic and Jewish and Wiccan and mothers of 5 and mothers of 1, and in some cases not yet mothers, and that we will see each person as who they are in this journey. Not what they can give, not who they can give it to, but who they are.